Hi, this is Wishop, and this is a quick card reading for the Virgo new moon of September 9th. We've just had a big Earth trine, and there's still a lot of good Earth energy going on, so I think it's a really terrific time to be able to cultivate luck. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, rather than really talk too much about the astrology, talk more about what luck is and potential ways that you can cultivate it. Luck is sort of like fate's silly cousin. We think of fate and destiny as kind of serious things. You're destined to meet somebody, or you were not fated to survive that illness, or things like that. So there's definitely a sense of the things which are out of our control, and when they're kind of serious and big deals, we might call them fate or destiny. But when they're lighter, when they're transient, when they're a little more carefree, a little more whimsical, they have a little bit of a funny quality about them, we call it luck. So we can think of gaming, gambling, gambling comes from gaming, and the idea of luck. But if you've ever seen a person who has a problem with gambling, they don't look like they're having fun. When they're doing it, they look like kind of like every other addict. They're grim almost. It's a difficult, unfortunate compulsion. They feel bad. But that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is the everyday luck that when you feel lucky, you feel like you can get that parking space. You feel like if something's almost sold out, you're going to get the last one. Or you make it in just under the wire on some deadline. That's the kind of luck that most people need and value on a day-to-day basis. It's not going to maybe change all the huge pillars of your life, although it certainly could. People always look to a huge lottery win or something like that. But an everyday sense of luck is just going to smooth and sweeten everything around you. It will sweeten relationships because you'll luckily say the right thing. You'll bring up the right topic, and it'll be exactly what someone wants to talk about. And you'll go, hey, that job interview went well, or that meeting or speed date went well. It just puts a little bit of a golden glow on things. So luck, as I said, can be tied to fate and destiny, and the fates and destiny can get attached to pretty serious things like birth and death and the huge things of life. So you will always find luck and luck gods and goddesses and figures whistling through the graveyard. They're always next door to the most serious things in life, but they're never taking it all that seriously. So if you would like to cultivate more luck, one of the first things you can do is to notice it. It's sort of law of attraction stuff, or like synchronicities, if you've had that experience. Everything that you notice, that you pay attention to, tends to show up in front of you. Your attention is magical. I have talked about attention as the coins you spend. This is, it's a treasure, your attention and your focus. So you don't have to be grim about focusing on it, but if there's a little bit of a lucky break, even if it's that something could have been worse and wasn't, noticing that and just having that little moment of gratitude for it is very helpful to encourage more. Because what tends to happen, and I think I've talked about this too, the human brain is wired to look for problems. It's an evolutionary thing. It was designed to protect us when everything that we encountered was a threat. and was a threat to our life, an existential threat. So now, even in situations where we may not, and I hope you are not, facing terrible existential threats all the time, we're looking for the bad news. And I've mentioned how it drives me a little bit crazy when other card readers see this gorgeous spread of nothing but good stuff. And then there's like one sort of shifty, sketchy minor arcana card, and we spend all the time talking about that. And a reader who I really enjoy, who doesn't do that very much, did that this week. And I found myself going, really? That's not even a major card. It wasn't even the main spread. It was a clarifier. How can that be what you want to spend all your time on? Now, it could be that that particular card had a message for that reader that was very important. But really, if you're looking to cultivate luck, and why wouldn't you want to cultivate a little more luck, then it is a good idea not to overweight the bad things, but to try to put some shine on the good things wherever you can. So I chose the Wildwood Tarot this time. I was thinking of the Fool card, which is like this lucky card because it sort of dances through life, you might think of it. And I think of luck as the ability to dance between the raindrops. When you're having a lucky day, it's like you're in a beautifully choreographed dance. You don't even know why you step to the left, but then suddenly, you know, something falls right where you were standing, but you're not standing there anymore. There's a sense of being in flow, of being in time with events as they happen. That too is luck. So you definitely want to cultivate that feeling. First of all, because it's really fun. And secondly, because it does help you get the things you want. It does make you more fun to be around. It does help you have more fun in the experiences in your life. So I am doing this reading to talk about this lucky time period and what we can do to cultivate more luck in our lives. Okay, so here is the Page of Stones, which in this deck is the gorgeous Lynx, and it's in reverse. So you can think of this as the Page of Pentacles. Here we have, okay, the Eight of Stones, which is skill. I will show you this upright. So you see these bowls and this handprint on the wall, and there's this carving away at various things like, you know, arrow points and bowls. Okay, so this is also in reverse. And this one, the King of Stones, which is the wolf in reverse. So you will notice that all of these cards are what you would call pentacle cards. So they're all cards that have to do with things like, let me see if I can focus so you can just get the whole card. They have to do with things like material issues, real estate, money, health, your possessions, the things around you. And you look at them all in reverse and go, oh no. But I said this was a luck reading, and I also did my little rant about not being interested in focusing on the negative aspects, but looking for ways to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. So that's what I'm going to do with this reading. It is interesting to me that this reading is all about stones, all about coins, all about the material matters. So I will tell you, first of all, when I saw this Lynx, now a lot of times when we think of the Page of Pentacles, we might think of a student card. This, the story of the Lynx in the constellations in the sky is kind of an interesting one, because I believe the Lynx ended up there hardly able to be seen after a king who was almost cursed to be up there as a very faint star. I'm wondering if I should look this up at the moment. Maybe I won't, but I believe it's Lynceus, Lynceus, is one of the stories that's associated with the constellation Lynx, which is kind of a faint constellation in the sky. And the deal was he was cursed to be so faint in his glory that he would hardly ever be seen. He would hardly ever be noticed. So I think the idea with the Page of Stones, the Lynx in reverse, is that you are not cursed, and you should not think of yourself as being cursed for your glory to be buried. That is not your destiny, if you will. It is not your fate. You are not supposed to shine very faintly in the sky to be forgotten and to be outshined by all the other stars. The idea is that you can step forward in your glory by feeling confidence in your own luck and well-being. That's part of it. Knowing that you are special. I know that sounds kind of trite, but it is true. If I combine, your DNA and your astrology and the kind of experiences you've had in your life, there is someone who's never existed in the history of ever before. And you're not replaceable. We can never make another exactly like you. So faith in your own special purpose, your own special place in the universe, and that it is not to be drowned out. You're not supposed to be cursed, I think is what I'm getting, because it was the first thing I thought when I turned over the links was the constellation and the curse. So let me get through the rest of the reading, and then I'll see if it merits going back to look up the full story. Although you can definitely look it up online, and I probably will when I'm done with this video. So we have the Eight of Stones, which is a card of skill. And if we think of the Eight of Pentacles, we think of that guy working on the pentacle. And he's working and he's repeating and he's doing all that, and he's working on the pentacle to get it perfect or to churn out another one. And another concept I want to think about, because we definitely have the idea that this is repeated effort that he's doing. He's repeated these processes and he's still working on them. And we think that's such a good thing, right? And so Eight of Stones can be a very Virgoing card connected to this time of year. So sensible and so smart. But the Eight of Stones in reverse tells me not to forget about the nature of beginner's luck. You've probably experienced beginner's luck before, either with people around you or yourself, where you went into a situation, you didn't know it very well, and you just knocked it out of the park, so to speak. And so if we think about what goes into that, well, the first thing is you probably didn't know how hard the thing was you were doing. You're thinking, is getting a hole-in-one hard? I guess people must do it all the time. And the people you're golfing with go, no, that doesn't happen all the time. So think to times that you had beginner's luck in something. Part of the reason you probably were lucky with it, you didn't know how hard it was, so you weren't psyched out about it. You hadn't been doing it a long time, so you didn't have any expectation that you'd be good at it. There was no pressure to be good at it because you were new, and if you weren't good at it, big deal. There can be a very carefree, light attitude. And also there can be an ability to follow good advice because you're not getting in your own way. Somebody goes, here, stand here and shoot the ball. And you do it and it goes in. And you go, hey, you're a good teacher. And they're like, well, I don't know about all that. The idea of beginner's luck, when you think about what it takes or the experience of beginner's luck, there's a lightness, there's this carefree quality, there's this, well, it doesn't really matter if I do well or don't do well. It's okay either way. And that lightness, that lack of psyching yourself out, that lack of mental expectation and anxiety. And the other thing too, you've never failed at it before because you're brand new. So you don't have this history of failures that are dragging you down or making you think, oh, it's going to be another failure again. You're kind of moving through it pretty lightly because you've never been bad at it. You've never been good at it either, but oh well. So when I see Eight of Stones in reverse, I think about the quality of beginner's luck, that lightness, that casualness, that whimsicality that allows us to take on tasks without psyching ourselves out, without getting all bent out of shape, and especially without overlaying difficult experiences or failures of the past onto the current situation, which when you've been working at something for a long time and you have tried and failed before, you have done trial and error, and you have not succeeded, and you've worked hard, and you have to keep in mind all these different tips you've learned, and you've internalized all these tricks and procedures and routines, all that can be a load on your mind. And that's why sometimes, like, you'll hear athletes like, let's just go out and have fun. Like, let's get loose, let's get relaxed, let's not think about all the things that are on the line. So I feel like the Eight of Stones in reverse is talking about that attitude. So what about the King of Stones in reverse with regard to luck? Because I refuse to read it as this like dour, horrible card, because I asked about luck, and I asked about the or the toast landing butter side up or jam side up, depending on how you've heard that. So the King of Stones in the upright can be like a Midas type character. He is the safe. He is the vault. He is the banker. So frequently someone who is very well off, but also someone very responsible. Sometimes it can be thought of as someone who's in this form too greedy for money or too grasping. So definitely you don't want to be grasping, and you don't want to accept luck only in monetary forms, because as I was talking about the luck of a good conversation with someone, you happen to be wearing a pair of shoes that day that is a pair that a person that you were meeting was looking at too, and you have this nice conversation around it that's a real icebreaker with someone who you wanted to network with. I mean, that's just a happenstance, and you can't really plan for it, but you can be receptive to it. You can be receptive to all the lucky ways that things can work out for you. And it's not just in lottery numbers. I mean, we all, love the thought of winning the lottery, or, winning big on an investment or a bet or something like that. But as I said, for most of us, the kind of luck that really day in, day out sweetens life is, finding that extra $5 in your pants pocket. And you think, yay, I put this in here some other time, but it was sitting here waiting for me today when I really needed it. And it feels like a big win. Or, as I said, you get a call at the right time. You were just getting ready to leave the house, to get on a train, to go somewhere, and you get a call saying the thing's been rescheduled. And if you'd been on the train, you would have been stuck for an hour before you could turn around and go back home. And you think, phew, thank goodness I got the news. 30 seconds longer and I would have been out the door, right? That's luck. That's what we want. That sense of being cared for by the universe, because those little lucky things that happen are not only messages from your past self, like the dollars in your pocket, from your past self to your future self, but they are little messages from the universe letting you know that you are cared for and that you're seen. And when you see lucky things, so maybe it's an animal that means something to you, or it's a charm that means something to you, it's a song that's like been lucky for you, something like that. Take that moment to really respond to it, to acknowledge it, almost to say, I see you. I see you. I get what you're doing there. Even if nobody else would really understand why it's a big deal. Those special private conversations that you have with the universe as it's interacting with you as you're going through your day, some of those are the most profound and the most powerful. And as I said, they really sweeten up life. So I think with the King of Stones in reverse, the wolf, it's going to say, like you see this wolf howling at the moon, and you think, well, the wolves don't howl at the sun, and they don't howl at the planet Jupiter. The wolf is a little single-minded about the moon. I think it is saying, be flexible about what you're willing to take as luck. It can be timing, conversations, happenstances, serendipities. It can be things small and large. It can be you drop your lunch tray and everything stays on the tray. And take that moment to go, phew, thank you. Don't just go on to start worrying about the thing that you were worried about, the afternoon meeting, and forget to notice that something went your way, something nice went your way. It could have been just another problem. I'm so cursed. Or it could really be, I'm blessed. I bet that meeting's going to go well too. Look at my luck. Look at my luck. I bet this meeting will go well too. To use the little kisses of luck as a way to improve your overall attitude towards everything else you're taking on. Because if you walk into a situation and you feel lucky, it's a whole different outcome than if you don't. So that's why I kind of wanted to talk about how do you cultivate that kind of everyday luck. So you can certainly use lucky objects if you like them, if you've found them useful in the past. I would say right now, because we're going into a new moon, if there's something you've used in the past that's lucky, maybe try something different, maybe another version of it, or just, switch it up a little bit for yourself. Recognize that, those were my lucky socks, but now I want to try a different pair of lucky socks. Not because you're abandoning what's worked, but because you're freshening up your relationship with luck. You're freshening up the presence of luck in your life. You're leaving room for it to cast around its fairy dust and to show up in synchronicities, in appearances, in last minute saves, in lucky breaks of all sorts. And I think if we all do that, we'll probably, have a great September. I see it as a very lucky time. I know I'm talking all about luck, but really, luck is kind of in some ways where it's at. It's pretty great. So I wish you all the luck in the world in things small and large. I hope that you feel blessed and kissed by a lucky, affectionate, warm-hearted universe, and that gives you that glow of being cared for and appreciated and valued for your specialness, that allows you to go out and contribute in the way that only you can, and help the other people in your life, and just, be that light that you want to be, not buried, not have your light hidden under a bushel. So I guess that's it for the moment. I will be doing a giveaway. Actually, probably I'll do it in a few days. I have these awesome Tricker Tarots. I backed these last year in a Kickstarter, and I ended up getting, luckily, a bunch of decks. I got them a little too late to be able to give them away for last year's Halloween, but I thought I would give them away during September and October this month, so I'll actually do a couple separate giveaways. Anyway, I'm looking forward to doing that. It's a beautiful deck. It's really fun to use. So I will talk about that, and I'll probably at that time talk about some other Doug Thornsjoe Duck Soup decks that I have and that I've used on the channel. So thank you very much for coming and viewing. Thank you very much for your comments and your likes. Thank you if you are already a subscriber or if you would like to subscribe. If you are interested in reading with me, and one of the kinds of readings I do is on blockage. So if you've got issues where you feel like your luck is blocked or some certain area in your life has obstacles in front of it, that is a kind of reading that I'm happy to do. There's information on getting readings on the About page on the channel, so you can email me through there. So yeah, until next time, thank you very much. May you be lucky and rock on with your bad selves.